A driver in Valencia bought a used car 6 months ago for €14,000. It had 58,000 kilometers on the clock. Full service history, clean bodywork, everything looked perfect. Last week he received a repair estimate for €9,600, more than the car is currently worth on the second-hand market. He's not getting it repaired. He cannot sell it either, because no buyer will touch it once they see what is wrong. He is trapped. €14,000 gone. And a car sitting in his driveway that he cannot drive, cannot sell, and cannot afford to fix. This is not bad luck. This is a pattern. There are 5 used cars flooding the Spanish second-hand market right now in 2026 that look like bargains on paper but are ticking time bombs mechanically. Cars that previous owners are dumping precisely because they know what is coming. Cars that dealerships are buying cheap at auction and flipping to you with a smile and a 12-month warranty that will not cover what actually breaks. I'm going to show you exactly which 5 cars to avoid, exactly what fails on each one, and exactly how much it will cost you when it does. Subscribe because this video could save you from the most expensive mistake you make this year. 5. Peugeot 3008. The Peugeot 3008 is flooding the Spanish used market right now. Beautiful design, premium interior, prices between 12 and 18,000 euros for models with 60 to 100,000 kilometers. It looks like the deal of the decade. It is a trap. The 1.2 PureTech 3-cylinder turbo engine has a timing chain defect that has generated a class action lawsuit in France. The chain stretches and eventually breaks, and when it breaks, it destroys the entire engine. Not a component, the engine. The whole thing. This is not a rare failure. It is a documented, widespread manufacturing defect affecting hundreds of thousands of units across Europe. Peugeot extended the warranty on the chain to 10 years or 175,000 kilometers in some markets, but only for first owners who bought new. If you buy one used, you may not be covered. Cost of timing chain replacement before it breaks, between 1,500 and 2,000 euros. Cost of a new engine after it breaks, between 5,000 and 7,000 euros. On a car you bought for 14,000. A mechanic in Barcelona. I can tell you exactly what will happen to a 3008 PureTech with 80,000 kilometers. The chain will stretch, the owner will ignore the rattle, the chain will break, and they will call me crying. It happens every single week. The 3008 is beautiful. The price is tempting. Walk away. 4. BMW 3 Series. The BMW 3 Series F30 with the 2.0-litre diesel is one of the most searched used cars in Spain. Between 12 and 20,000 euros for a premium German saloon with decent mileage. Every second-hand buyer's dream, every mechanic's favourite customer. The B47 diesel engine is not unreliable by BMW standards. The problem is everything around it. The timing chain is at the back of the engine, meaning replacement requires removing the engine from the car or dropping the gearbox. Labour alone is between 8 and 12 hours. Total chain replacement bill between 3,000 and 4,500 euros. The EGR valve clogs and fails. 800 euros. The DPF saturates if the previous owner drove mostly in the city, which in Spain they almost certainly did. DPF replacement between 2,000 and 3,500 euros. The dual mass flywheel wears out around 100,000 kilometers, 1,500 euros. But the killer is the electronics. The iDrive system develops screen failures. The parking sensors stop working. The automatic tailgate motor dies. Each fix is between 400 and 1,000 euros. Individually, they seem manageable. Combined, they are catastrophic. A mechanic in Madrid, the F3320D is my bread and butter. Every single one that comes in over 100,000 kilometers leaves with a bill over 1,000 euros. Every single one. Add up chain, EGR, DPF, flywheel and electronics over 3 years of ownership, and you are looking at between 6 and 10,000 euros in repairs on a car you bought for 15,000. That is not a premium experience. That is financial self-harm. 3. Renault Captur. The first generation Renault Captur is one of the cheapest SUVs on the Spanish used market. Between 5 and 10,000 euros. Attractive for first-time buyers, young families, anyone on a budget. The 1.2 TCE engine under the bonnet is one of the most problematic small engines of the last decade. Excessive oil consumption, up to a litre every 2,000 kilometers on affected units. The cause is a design flaw in the piston rings that Renault has never fully acknowledged. When the oil runs low between services, which it does constantly, the turbo starves, the bearings wear, and the engine begins its slow death. Turbo replacement between 1,800 and 2,500 euros. Engine rebuild for oil consumption between 3,000 and 4,000 euros on a car worth 6,000. The 0.9 TCE 3-cylinder is marginally better but painfully slow and still burns oil. Neither engine option inspires confidence. A mechanic in Seville, the first-gen Capture is the car I tell my friends to avoid more than any other. The engine is a lottery and the prize is always a repair bill. The second-generation Capture from 2020 onward with the 1.0 TCE is significantly improved, but the first generation between 2013 and 2019 is a car you should not touch regardless of how cheap it looks. Stop. 3 used cars that will drain your savings in 2026, but the next 2 are even worse. One of them is the most popular used car in Spain right now, and almost nobody knows what is hiding underneath. The other is a car people buy thinking they're being smart, and it turns out to be the most expensive mistake on the second-hand market. Hit like and let us continue. 2. Volkswagen Golf. The Volkswagen Golf is the default choice for millions of Spanish used car buyers. It is the car you buy when you do not know what else to buy. Reliable, solid, German, safe choice, except it is not. The Golf 7 with the 1.4 TSI engine and DSG gearbox is one of the most expensive used cars to maintain in its segment, and almost nobody talks about it because criticizing the Golf in Spain is like criticizing the national football team. The DSG 7-speed dry dual-clutch gearbox is the main problem. It shudders at low speeds, it hesitates during parking maneuvers. After 80 to 100,000 kilometers, the clutch pack needs replacement. 2,800 euros. This is not a possibility. It is a scheduled event that Volkswagen prefers to call maintenance rather than a defect. The 1.4 TSI engine itself has documented timing chain tensioner failures. When the tensioner fails, the chain skips and the valves meet the pistons. Engine destroyed. Replacement between 4,000 and 6,000 euros. A Golf 7 1.4 TSI DSG with 90,000 kilometers can be bought for 12,000 euros. It looks like a sensible purchase. Over the next 3 years, you will spend between 3,000 and 7,000 euros keeping it running. That 12,000 euro Golf just became a 19,000 euro Golf. For that money, you could have bought a brand new Dacia Sandero and had 0 repair bills for the next decade. A mechanic in Zaragoza. The Golf is the car everyone trusts and nobody questions. My workshop exists because of that trust. If Golf owners knew what I know, half of them would buy a Toyota. 1. Audi A3, the most dangerous used car on the Spanish market in 2026. Not because it is the worst car ever made, but because it is the car where the gap between perception and reality is the widest. Audi badge, premium interior, compact size perfect for Spanish cities, diesel efficiency, available for 10 to 15,000 euros used. Tens of thousands of Spanish buyers look at this car every month and think, Audi quality at a bargain price. They are wrong. The 1.6 TDI is the weakest diesel Volkswagen Group has ever produced. Underpowered for the weight of the car, which means it works harder, runs hotter, and wears faster than it should. The EGR valve clogs constantly. The DPF saturates in urban driving. The turbo actuator fails and sends the car into limp mode. But the true horror is the S-tronic gearbox, which is the DSG dry dual clutch under a different name. Same gearbox as the Golf, same clutch pack failure, same 2,800 euro bill. Except Audi charges more for labour, so the real cost is closer to 3,200 euros. Add the mechatronic unit that controls the gearbox. When it fails, and it does, replacement costs between 2,000 and 3,000 euros. Combined with the clutch pack, a single gearbox event can cost over 5,000 euros on a car worth 10,000. A mechanic in Valencia, the A3 1.6 TDI S-tronic is the car that proves Audi is selling a lifestyle, not engineering. Every single component is designed to the absolute minimum specification. It passes warranty, it does not pass real life. The A3 looks like the smartest used buy in Spain. It is the most expensive one. 5 used cars, 5 financial traps sitting on Spanish second-hand lots right now with clean bodywork and reasonable mileage and price tags that seem too good to be true. The Peugeot 3008 with an engine that self-destructs. The BMW 3 Series that costs more to maintain than to buy. The Renault Captur that burns oil by design. The Volkswagen Golf that everyone trusts and nobody should. And the Audi A3 that proves a premium badge on a used car is a warning, not a promise. The pattern is always the same. Previous owners know what is coming. They dump the car before the big bill arrives. The dealership cleans it up, puts it under lights, and sells it to the next person who sees a badge instead of a maintenance history. Before you buy any used car, do 3 things. Check the engine code, not the model name, the engine code. Search that code online followed by the word problems, and get an independent pre-purchase inspection from a mechanic who does not work for the dealer. Those 3 steps cost under €200. Skipping them can cost you 10,000. Subscribe and share this video with anyone shopping for a used car in 2026, because the cheapest car on the lot is always the most expensive one to own.